Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Teaching and Learning, Sakai Teaching and Learning meeting for Wednesday, April 29th, 2015. We are recording this session, as we've gotten in the habit of doing. We have an agenda posted on Etherpad. That link should be in the, if you want to see that in the chat area. It was also off of our Confluence page. And we will start off with, just welcoming everybody here. Appreciate your attendance. And then we'll take a few minutes for project updates and announcements. So apparently the Avengers movie is coming out this Friday. So that's an important announcement for those of you who are fans. Another announcement is maybe a little more relevant to our discussion today is the Apereo schedule has been published for the Open Apereo 2015. I'll paste that in the chat as well as the meeting minutes. It's a very full schedule. There's over 100 sessions. There's pre-conference work sessions. There's social events. There's networking opportunities. One of the things to be aware of is that early bird registration ends this, I forget if it's this Friday, May 1st, or if it's May 4th, but early bird registration is ending really, really soon. So if you know you're coming, that would be a really good idea to save your institution a few bucks. Also, another thing that there's a deadline in is that there's some really cool social events like ghost tours around Baltimore and things like that. And some of those tours require a minimum number of people to be signed up in advance. So if you think you might be interested in some of those social events and want to make sure they happen, you might want to also check out which ones you're interested in and if they require advanced sign up for that. The other announcement is there's a Morpheus, which is the responsive design that is in Sakai 11, is continuing to be developed. The Morpheus is a presentation today at noon. So that's on Apereo. That's also on Big Blue Button, and you can find those details. I sent them out this morning. What else is going on? There's some QA testing going on, which we've had some really great participation. I think almost 30 people doing QA. This is the first round of QA for Sakai 11, which is really awesome because the earlier we can kind of identify bugs, then we can triage them, figure out, have a better sense of what our schedule will be. We'll have to definitely be doing even more intensive round of QA after we get Morpheus settled, after we get, there's some new infrastructure changes that are already in trunk that are not on the QA server, things like that. So really appreciate all the stepping up for the QA. Project updates, I could probably do some of the project updates, but I'm wondering if any of the folks who are also involved in them would like to, just so we have some different voices. Like, I don't know if Louisa, you want to mention what's going on with the LEAP, and Wilma, if you want to mention what's going on with the STEP project. So take a moment here to see if any of those folks who are project leads or very heavily involved want to give a quick update. If not,
okay. Yes, I will start with the LEAP project. We had a webinar yesterday. The alongside Sakai web series was really good. We had about 65 people attended, and the response was positive. And when we asked how many of the attendees would like to help, I think more than half of them said yes. And maybe. Very few people said no, so it was very positive. And also, in the meantime, Unicon is working on the development. They are about to wrap up, and then after that, Unicon will do a pull request. Is that correct, Neil? Pull request, yes. Yeah. Charles Hedrick will look at the codes and make sure everything was okay, then put in the trunk, do the QA, etc., etc. So hopefully we're getting to the Sakai 11.
Yeah, and what a pull request means is that we have a really nice process for how contributions come into Sakai. So any developer can develop. It's usually a good idea to give, participate in other ways on lists and on the Sakai core team call so that you can absorb best practices in terms of doing coding. I know this isn't really primarily a coding group, but you might be interested in kind of how this works. And then you can do something called a pull request, which essentially says, hey, I have this I have this bug fix, or I have this change. And it's related to, we like to have them always linked to something in Jira. Jira is our main communication source for features and bug fixes. And then when they send it up there, developers, it's totally out in the open, and developers can review the code. And then we have a core set of developers who have permissions and privileges to do what's called a merge. They can basically say, yeah, after all the comments come in, yeah, we feel comfortable with this change, and they merge it in, and it goes into what we call trunk, which is the main development stream of Sakai. At some point later on, what we'll do is we'll take a snapshot of that, and we'll make what's called a branch, and then that way we can kind of freeze it, and so that additional changes are even more tightly controlled going into the branch. So that's kind of how that works. Any updates on STEP, Wilma?
At this point, we're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern because we have already communicated with Flying Kite, but they haven't actually started the work yet. So nothing new to report at this point.
Right. Good, thanks. I don't know if anyone knows the status of Gradebook. I haven't heard a recent update. Well, I mean, recent meaning more than a week or two, but I assume that's still going along okay. And I think that covers most of those things. There's still some discussions about adding some items into Sakai 11, so that's pretty exciting. Stay tuned on that. Let's see. All right. So I think that any other announcements that folks have?
There's a Morpheus webinar today.
Yep. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Yeah, Morpheus webinar at 12 noon Eastern Daylight and 4 p.m. GMT. Yeah.
And there's another webinar next week about the wiki and the LTI. Is it?
I forgot totally about that. There's a webinar next week for the wiki LTI.
Yeah, someone mentioned it to me. So it's about LTI and wiki. Huh. The X wiki, I think.
I wasn't aware of that. Or I don't. Let me say.
I can ask that person again. So.
Okay.
But that would be next week.
Okay. I don't see that listed on the Apereo webinar series. I know there was some offline discussion about that, so we might want to double check, because I know that I had spoke to Dr. Chuck Severance and to I think it was Don DiGilio at that possibility, but I don't know if we'd ever confirmed, so I want to double check on that one. And if we can confirm it, we'll send out an announcement.
Okay.
Never got a confirmation from Dr. Chuck, but we could potentially. So I don't know if that's actually on.
Oh, that's why it's not a webinar per se. It's maybe it's discussions, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll check on that and announce it. Any other announcements? All right. Well, then the bulk of our meeting today is how Rutgers University Camden uses lessons and templates for faculty to structure online hybrid courses. So, Christy, I'll let you go ahead and take it away. And you have roughly about 40 minutes, including questions and answers.
Okay, great. Thanks, Neil. As Neil said, I will be talking about Sakai Site Templates for faculty online and hybrid course development. I'm an instructional designer at Rutgers University Camden. So we have at Rutgers kind of 3 campuses, and Camden is the smallest. We're near Philly. And we have about, I want to say, a little less than 7,000 students. And I'm the instructional designer for the campus. So it's myself and the director of instructional design and technology trying to kind of help out with hybrid and online course development because our online courses are really growing. And I know that the people up at kind of the largest campus in Rutgers in Central Jersey are doing similar things as well. Although their templates don't look exactly the same as us, they are doing similar things. So I posted a link to my slides at the very beginning of the chat, but I can do so again later if they're kind of hard to scroll back through. So what exactly do I mean by site template? Because I think the word template gets tossed around a lot in this call particularly, and I think it means different things for different people. So for my department, when we refer to site templates, we don't refer to templates in the CK editor. Actually, at Rutgers, we don't have those. So when people started talking about this, I was really confused. I was like, what are you talking about? There's no button for that in CK editor, so I don't have that. They're not site templates faculty can choose when they're creating a new site from my workspace. So although we do have some templates there, we don't find them quite as useful. It'll kind of just create, those templates kind of just create the basic left-hand menu structure, but don't put anything on the pages. But ours are kind of fully structured Sakai site shells that we use to duplicate and hand off to faculty. And our main kind of goals, and this is, I'll take you through this slide shows kind of what basically the main page of our template looks like for the summer course. So we have a summer template, we have a template for fall and spring courses, and we have a template for our winter semester courses because they tend to take a little bit of different structures. I think our most updated one is the summer template, since that's the one that's coming up, because they're all definitely kind of like forever working documents. So that's the one I kind of took screenshots of. So that's the main page here, and I'll kind of walk you through each of the pieces. The goals in creating these for us were having consistency in structure and navigation across online and hybrid courses. So we can't actually really guarantee that that's happening because faculty members don't have to come to us when they're developing their courses. But we do work with a lot of faculty, and we figured if we, even if we can get a percentage of the online and the hybrid courses to be a consistent structure and setup, then that counts for something. That the students kind of know if they become accustomed to what they're seeing in the online courses. We also wanted a clear structure and navigation for students, and we use a lot of quality matters to try and influence how we set up the templates and what we included in the templates. And we also wanted to minimize clicking and scrolling to find information for the students. So I think this was discussed a little bit last week, this whole like how many subpages can you go in before it starts to get really confusing. And we've kind of decided that not very many. I actually worked with a instructor, I think in the fall semester, who had, it was like subpage after subpage after subpage. You were getting like 8 or 9 deep in. And to try and figure out how to get back there, like where you were and how to get back, was really confusing. So we try to minimize that in the templates. We want to encourage accessibility. So the templates use styles like headings, images or alt tags. We'll make note of those things so that faculty can easily kind of replicate those things. And our biggest goal, and this is what I always ask people when other ideas come out about new site templates, I want faculty to be able to work independently with the site template. They don't need me to hold their hand through it or me to do it for them. And we want it to be easy for them to use. So, for example, I really loved the way Dave's site templates looked last week, but even including a little bit of code for a lot of faculty for us, including that div code on the back end, can be confusing to them. So our site templates don't edit the code at all. It just uses the styles. We don't edit the CSS. We want to be able to hand it off and make them feel less confused about it. A lot of the faculty don't like it if they're just handing stuff off to me to put in Sakai. I mean, some people are completely comfortable with that, but they want to be able to kind of get their hands dirty and work with it too. So we want to make it the least confusing as possible. And the one thing that did occur to me that I forgot to put on this slide is that we want it to be easy to duplicate the site. So if all of the links break when the site duplicates because they're pointing to the old site, that's a problem for us because a lot of faculty members don't realize that. and because they can still see it since they have access to the original site. So we try to set it up where things are not going to break. And that's where a lot of workarounds that I've seen don't work for us either, because we need the site duplication to be clean and not cause broken links. So you already saw kind of the main page of our summer template. And this is what our intro and syllabus page looks like. So it's just a lessons page with text, a subpage to meet the professor, a link to a forum, and then we also use it as an opportunity to include kind of boilerplate syllabus language for the instructors. Model a syllabus for them based on how quality matters might use it, what language they might include, and what we would hope to see in an online course. Yes, I see Terry's question. Are you avoiding the syllabus tool? We are avoiding the syllabus tool like the plague. We found that a lot of faculty get confused by it. It seemed easier to just copy and paste the text into a lessons page. And you can't see it here, but if you were to scroll down, we also have a link to a Word document version of our syllabus template. So that's available. And I see Salwa's question, can faculty add drop tools to the template? Yes, so when faculty get handed off the template, they can change it as much as they like. So they might not wind up using all these things, but for the most part, what we've seen is that people don't change it, the actual structure too much. And there's also been a number of faculty that we've worked with to kind of create their own, a different template to kind of meet their needs. So maybe it doesn't look exactly like this. Maybe they want to structure their course instead of units in a different way or something like that. So we do work with people to change that, but faculty, we want them to be able to use it and feel independent in using it. We put a course schedule page as well and kind of throw a table in there to encourage faculty to use this here so they can lay out a clear and consistent course schedule for the students, because we think it's really important for the students to have one spot to go to be able to see when things are due and what they have coming up. I think in online courses, sometimes it gets a little bit lost. And then the unit pages are definitely kind of the bulk of the site template. And this is where I really loved Dave's unit pages last week. They looked gorgeous. Ours do not look as gorgeous, but they're a lot more basic. And what we try to include here is just a spot for them to put a title, an area for them to put dates, learning goals, links to readings. And then you'll see we do include the lecture on a sub-page. So I'll talk about that in a little bit, but that was something I think Dave mentioned last week as being something they were considering if they should or should not do it. And then we have links to assignments, the discussion, any quizzes, anything they can add using the add content menu, any link, any assignments that are due for that unit. So I see a couple questions coming in. So we do keep the home tool because we like how it kind of aggregates stuff on the home page. I guess you could say students can see announcements there, new activity in the class. And then we do use at the beginning, I don't know if there's an easy way to jump back to this page. But so I kind of covered it up over here, but behind this text, we do have, announcements, upcoming things will show up here. So that's why we keep the home tool. And in this site information display area is where we include the general course information. We'll have people link to the intro and syllabus page here in the first unit here, kind of give them instruction. They have phone numbers they can call, those kind of things. So I see also, what does avoiding the syllabus tool do for you? Again, we just don't like the way it looks when faculty, a lot of them cut and paste. They don't use the expanding capabilities of adding multiple sections. Most people are just copying and pasting into the one section. it looks ugly when you copy and paste it from Word. It adds like a lot of extra space we've found. And then also the fact that you have to expand the only thing that's there is kind of just a silly thing. So we found it's easier to just use a lessons page. And I see Fawe said, wouldn't it be good to link to the schedule tool as well? Not that many faculty for us use the schedule tool. That can be a little bit messy sometimes when you duplicate sites. So instead, we just kind of create a course schedule. Yeah, see, Terry, I see your suggestion there, but then it loses some of the formatting that the faculty might do in using the Word option to paste. And again, a lot of faculty members don't know that they should go do that. So we're trying to make it as easy for them to use as possible, where we don't have to necessarily give them like little tricks like that. So again, I'm back to the unit page, and then you can see if you go into the CK editor, there's no fancy coding going on here. I think I had it clicked onto the unit title when I took this screenshot, so you can just see this is heading 1. They could drop down the menu and choose a different heading if they wanted to. It's not coding, it's exactly how it appears on the lessons page. So there's nothing fancy happening here. And then when they click into the subpages, this is where we encourage faculty to put their lectures, whether it's text or video or a mix of all of those things. And we also use this as an opportunity to kind of put in information on how to use certain things. So, sorry, I'm having a little trouble with me here. So you can see we give suggestions on what you could embed, accessibility suggestions, what's the easiest way to do each thing. So if you want to add a YouTube video, how do you do that? If you want to add a PDF, how do you do that? Which sometimes can be a little bit mysterious for which add content item is the easiest to use. And then we even include, I think I have this on the next page, an example lecture of what does it look like if you want to mix up and pop in some YouTube videos, pop in an image, use some text, and include that on the first lecture page. The other ones after that on the following units are blank, and they just have a spot where they can put the topic title and the rest of the lessons page is blank. On this template pattern, how do faculty duplicate a page for additional units? So if they want additional units, then it's really set up so basically that if they were on this page, so I've taken the screenshot without the add content menu. Let's say we're back on a different lessons page. If they're on the unit 1 page or the unit 4 page or whatever, they could just go to more tools. They could choose add new pages, and then they could put in the title of the new page, like unit 5, unit 6, whatever, and click to make a copy of the lessons page, and it will copy the page for them. So Fawe said we use our own CSS to style lesson pages. No, we don't. I individually change each heading to be that color because I find using CSS to be confusing for people. So if we used CSS to design these lessons pages, this is what it would look like when you're on the page. But if we use CSS, when you click into CK Editor, the Unit 1 topic title, the header would not be red, it would be black. And I think that can be frustrating for faculty because what if they do want to change the color? And they're changing it in the editor, and then whenever they save, it's red again because the CSS is showing something different. So no, we don't use CSS, I individually make everything match. And people don't really mess with it too much. So our lectures are all on subpages, and I do that mainly because, as you can see here, this main unit page is kept pretty short. So there's not a lot of scrolling that has to happen the students can click on it and see what their assignments are pretty easily. We encourage the faculty to also put due dates in these assignments areas as well, so they're not only on the schedule, but they're on the unit pages so that it's very clear to students. But I'll show you an example of an online course before they started using the template where they did not use subpages for the lectures, and it was really difficult to find information. And if the faculty member has a lot of videos, that can also really make the load time lengthen for students if there's a lot of videos loaded up on the unit page. Okay, so yes, that's what I was just saying. How does this change things? So here's an example of a lessons page that was designed by a faculty member before they started using our template. So this was for a summer course last summer. And basically, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see this faculty member had a lessons page for each unit along the left. And then the student would have to scroll down and they would see all of the lecture material, all the tutorial material, and instructions in red. All their assignments were kind of in pink here. And then they had these due dates kind of scattered throughout, but it was really hard to navigate. If you continue to scroll through, I thought I had another image there, but I didn't. It was, so this particular page went from June 23rd to June 28th. So you can see, you only see up to June 24th here, and it went pretty long. It took a long time to load, and it was really hard for students to see what they had to accomplish when. So this was kind of an example of, here's what happens when we don't give faculty a template and they use lessons pages. It might not be quite as organized. And then what happened after that? Well, it changed to a lot less cluttered looking course. So I worked with that particular faculty member to move her summer course to the fall. And we took the same structure she had of having 5 chapters along the left. And then we kind of just reworked that for her. So I handed this off to her completely. This faculty member, I just put in the text spaces, I put in the lecture buttons, and she input all of the text herself. So just having certain things set up, like having this tutorial quizzes with the heading 2 style, with the subpage, the assignments text box is here and ready to go. She just has to add the assignments. I found that really helps faculty keep things organized and helps them kind of think about how it makes it less abstract to them. It makes it more tangible how to organize the online course, because I think that a lot of faculty members, actually most faculty members, have never taken an online course, so they don't know what it feels like to kind of be lost in that shuffle. And this can kind of help them see how it might look in an organized way. So can you guys still hear me? I just got an error message. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. I just got an error that was like, lost your microphone. All right. So you can see this isn't our exact template that I was just showing you, but I worked with this particular professor to create a new one for her. I basically just had a shell and I handed it off to her in order to use it. So I see Adam's asking about the home tool. You don't necessarily need it. I think it's just a good overview page for students. So I don't think you absolutely need it, but we do like it kind of as an overview that compiles a bunch of different information into one spot. So I think this is just an example. The students can see their assignments a lot more clearly. If they want to access the videos, they click on the subpage and scroll through that there. But you can see the entire unit in a lot less space than you could see it before. And how we hand off the site template to faculty. So what we do is all the site templates are housed in my Sakai account essentially and my director's Sakai account. So instructional design and technology is a department of 2 at Rutgers Camden, and both of us have instructor access to our site templates. When a faculty member wants a site template, we meet with faculty to show them how to use it. So basically, here's how you input text. Here's how you link to an assignment. A brief meeting, probably less than an hour. Then we duplicate the site for them through site info from our accounts. We add the faculty member as an instructor to the new site, and then we take ourselves off of the instructor list. So it's kind of just like a duplicate site and hand off to them instead of something that they can create from scratch. They have to go through us to get it. Once they have it, I mean, they can always duplicate it themselves, but to get it that first time, they have to talk to us. I see the templates are used by all departments in your institutions, or do you have a template for each department? Now, we have one template that kind of is for everybody, but like I said earlier, we do, if someone doesn't really like the way a template's set up, we'll meet with them to try and tweak it. So can they do it themselves? What do you mean, Louisa, can they do it themselves
I mean, I'm kind of brainstorming here. So if you have a joinable site, and then in the joinable site, you set up the lessons pages, they can go in there and see what the template look like and duplicate those pages themselves. Would that be possible?
I could see that being a possibility. I would just be a little wary about it. Just because I've seen sometimes when people try to create it from their own and certain things don't follow through, like they don't use the heading style, they'll use just making a larger font size or something like that. So some certain parts are lost. So it's really worked for us to try and meet with the faculty who gain access to it for the first time. It seems like a lot to talk to all the faculty about it, but like I said, not all faculty have to come through us, so some people don't reach out to us when they're teaching online. And the amount of new faculty we have each semester, it's kind of like staggered. We're not meeting with every faculty member every semester. Once they have access to it, then they can make the duplication on their own. And they're kind of, off to go. Like the Spanish site I was showing you before, I haven't had to meet with that professor since last fall. And she even had, she developed a new course based on the same site template for the spring. The other thing that we think is nice about having the site template, I'm sorry, Louisa, did you have a follow-up question to that?
Yes. So when I look at your previous slide, can you move back one slide? Yes. So what do you mean by duplicate the size through site info from our accounts? We usually, if we transfer content, we go to the site editor and click on import to do that way. So what do you mean by site info?
So I'm not sure, is this something that everyone has access to? So in the menu here, if I was to go to site info.
We call it site editor. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wilma. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what's going on with other people's Sakai. Site editor would actually, if we could get ours named site editor, that actually might be more useful than site info. So my last kind of point here is the course template also provides a good opportunity for us as an office to provide instructional material to faculty. So all of our site templates include an invisible page, well, a page that's invisible to students. And it's called Teaching Online in Sakai. So anyone who's new to online and hybrid teaching that comes through our office and gets this template, gets this invisible page automatically. And what we use is we put here how to use Sakai to teach. Because how to use Sakai to design a course and how to use Sakai to teach a course is kind of two completely separate things. And on here we put some videos, how to grade discussions, how to grade assignments, how to use tests and quizzes, those kind of things that they can just quickly access, and they always have access to because it's in the site for them already. So, but I think that is all my kind of main points. Does anyone have any questions besides what the heck is site info?
Hi, this is Luisa again. I have a question, and actually I have many questions. So I think last time you mentioned a little bit, you at Rutgers you used the Meleti tool before, right? And did you have what did you guys do to transfer migrate from the Meleti to the Lesson Builder tool with the faculty? So how did they respond? What kind of strategy you use for that transfer?
So unfortunately, I actually don't know. I joined Rutgers in March 2014. I've only been here for about a year, and we already had lessons when I came on board, and we'd had it for I think for like a year already. So I don't know if we had a ton of online courses before Lesson Builder was had kind of come into play. We were kind of behind the game in that respect. But I could talk to my director and kind of see how that went. I don't recall hearing any like really crazy things going on. So I don't know how large of a migration there had to be. So sorry, I really don't have an answer for you for that because I was never around for Meleti. I see Mark's question. Do you ever experience pushback from faculty that perceive a template system as too restrictive? I really wouldn't say I get pushback from people because we don't force them to use it. It's just really to give help to them. They don't have to use it. If some people want to build their own template and just ask for help for how they can do things in their own template, we offer that as well. But the templates are really just to help faculty who have trouble kind of visualizing what an online course should look like. So most people are, I would say, more thankful that they have something to start with because a lot of them don't know how to approach it. But because we're not forcing them into it, I think we haven't gotten pushback because of that. That's the percentage of faculty that use the templates. That's really hard to try and figure out. I really couldn't say. I wish I knew. I know our largest school in Camden is School of Arts and Sciences, and the faculty members in School of Arts and Sciences in Camden do get an incentive to develop an online course. They get a stipend for developing online courses, and with that contract, they have to work with our office to develop the online course. And with all of those courses, we use the template. So I would say that we're working to develop about 25 new online courses for arts and sciences for the summer. So I think all but one faculty member is using the template out of those 25. But I know we're offering 90 sections of online courses this summer. So I don't know. I know 25 of those online courses will be using the template, but I don't know how many online courses that are being offered that were offered in the past that might be using the template as well. I don't know. That's a difficult question. How often do you talk to faculty about the template? So the people that come through, faculty, arts and sciences, that get the contract, get the stipend, we definitely talk to them about it and offer it to them, but we don't force them to use it. Anyone else who comes to us about online classes, or if we can ever talk to department chairs, we talk about it then. So it's really whoever we can get our hands on, we talk to them. See Terry's question, do you see a difference in student evaluations and the perception of online experience? So I don't have a large set of information or data about that because we don't see the student evaluations in my office. I have to say I'm very close with the instructor that I showed you her kind of the before and after for her Spanish course, before she used the template and after. And she said in her summer course, her summer course last summer, the students were really confused about due dates. She would get a lot of emails about how to find things, and when we redid it, she said those emails did get smaller in size. The amount of emails that she got went down about finding out when things are due, or trying to find things within the page. So it seems like it, but I don't have any hard data to back that up. Follow asked you, do your faculty find the lessons pages structure too linear? I find the lessons page structure too linear. I think I would, myself and the faculty would really enjoy having more freedom with that, but again, we're not really comfortable with using any kind of coding or something to try and get that to be set up differently, because we want to keep it easy for them. But I don't know if you were here in the beginning or not, Fawe, but we don't have the little templates button in the CK editor to offer that either. So I hope if that's how people are doing it, I hope we can get that little templates button. Louisa asks, is the template only for online courses? Can face-to-face courses use them? And do regular faculty come to talk to you about the template? The template is mostly used for online courses and hybrid courses. And face-to-face courses can use them, but I don't see people using lessons as much in face-to-face courses. I really see people sticking kind of to resources then still. People don't, in my experience at least, if you give them a blank lessons page, they don't really kind of know what to do with it. It definitely needs some explaining. So we don't see as much of a use in face-to-face courses, but if people wanted to use it for a face-to-face course, we would definitely hand it off to them. And regular faculty, I don't know if they come to talk to me. Do you mean like Louisa, do you mean like faculty who are teaching face-to-face courses by regular faculty? Okay, yeah, so no, I haven't gotten any people who are teaching face-to-face courses asking about the template. So I don't know if maybe they're made aware of it when they teach online, and if they want to use it, they just copy it themselves at that point, or if they just don't want to use it, or something else I'm not thinking of. But we haven't really had any specific requests from someone who doesn't teach online at all. Yeah, I agree with you there, Marilyn. We have a concern with that as well.
Yeah, I see a question about the LEAP project, right? For this, the lessons tool Louisa presented, and we presented the other day on. We have a wireframe. The wireframe does not include a 2-column option. So, as we mentioned, and Louisa mentioned earlier, a lot of people show an interest in investing in lessons. So it would take kind of like, if that's really one of the top things that people are interested in, I think we would maybe need to, find a way to get resources, right? Find a way for people to invest in that, and then we'll have to kind of figure out what that will cost and go through the process. So it didn't make it for this first phase for sure, and it's not even in the wireframe version of the LEAP project. So that would be a really great discussion to have, either online and or at a Apereo conference.
Does anyone else have any questions? I did notice Fawe mentioned earlier they're trying to move kind of everything to lessons and away from other tools. And I remember Dave, or I don't know if it was last week or a different week, when we were having this discussion about like making tools invisible. And that's kind of our biggest wish, is that we can make like assignments and tests and quizzes and stuff invisible, but you can't really, because that's how students get feedback for a lot of things. So can I share the structure of my template? I would have to talk to my director about it, but I'm sure she wouldn't be opposed to sharing. So please just email me, and we can probably create like a guest template that we can add you guys into our Sakai site as guests or something like that, so you can see how things work. So shoot me an email, and I will double check with my director, but it should be okay.
Well, thanks
for listening, everybody.
Yeah, that was great. So now for the, and we have this recorded, so we can share this for people who weren't able to attend, because I got a couple people, at least one person who wrote and was really wanting to attend. And a couple things that come up for me is that we're kind of getting a lot of presentations and lessons, which is great, because clearly that is a tool that's very powerful and transformative. And I think sharing has been really awesome. It's making me wonder if there's ways of also kind of getting the word out to a larger community and getting more participation, because there have been such great presentations here. Bye, Fawi. So anyway, that's me to think about. And the final part of this meeting is to discuss the future meeting topics. Right now we have scheduled is, it looks like the schedule that, oh, I see, the formatting is not so great here. Next week, I was going to do a teaching and learning issues in JIRA. If there's actually an, excuse me, I have the sniffles. I guess the other possible topic for next week might be LTI. I guess we need to clear that up really quickly, whether we're doing XWiki and LTI, because I wasn't clear that was confirmed, or whether we can do a little bit of each. Since mine wouldn't be so much a presentation, it'll be much more informal. May 13th, we have the peer review in lessons. And then May 20th, lesson survey results from Louisa. And then, let's see, oh, there we go, the 27th. Thank you for the formatting help there. Karuta. So Karuta already presented one time, but the second time is to get them help in terms of doing use cases, like coming up for use cases, because then maybe they could, you know, create some templates that would be useful in Karuta. And then it's the Open Apereo conference, which I'm sure not everyone can attend, but hopefully a lot of you can attend. And here are some of the sessions that you can see, quite a lot of lessons oriented. So quite a lot of teaching and learning oriented types of sessions. So I think we had discussed that we don't have to wait for June 3rd to have ideas for other sessions if folks already have them. I seem to recall in the back of my mind that we had something come up last week, but that was post June 3rd, but I don't remember now. So does anyone have ideas for topics? All right, I'll take that as a no. But if you do think of some, please let us know. We have a team of myself and Gail Hunger and Tricia Gordon and Josh, who hopefully someday will be able to return to these calls, but you know, been super busy, obviously, with a lot of things. Yeah, let us know what we can add onto the agenda. I'm sure a lot of ideas will come out of the Open Apereo conference as well. So I really think that when we get to Open Apereo, something we should keep in the back of our minds is, as topics are being discussed, is we could, you know, add them on to the teaching and learning agendas for our schedule. I don't think that I have anything else. Does anyone else have any final comments? No? Okay, great. Well, then you know, I guess we'll end a little bit early, and you know, thank you all. Appreciate it. And I'll you know, get the recording posted as quick as I can. I know it took me a little bit longer than I'd like. It took about a week to get the last one, but hopefully it's still useful. So take care. Bye.